Dhanvat Pranam Raja.
Dhanvat Pranam Raja.
Dhanvat Pranam.
Who is reading today?
I am. Krisha.
Okay. Yeah. Then summarize the whole topic in detail, the part which we have already studied, and then continue with the next part.
Sure.
It has been quite long, so we need to just revise it properly. Go from the first slok and revise it in detail as well.
Okay. So I'll start from Granth 1. Granth 1, Sri Mahaprabhuji wants the Pushti being to be clear regarding all these means and the ultimate purpose of Pushti devotion as well. In Granth 2, the 4 Purushottas are explained: Dharma, Arth, Kam, and Moksha. These 4 Purushottas are split into all activities we perform throughout the day or throughout our lifespan. The lives of those who are not aware or don't follow these scriptures will be disturbed. The meaning of Dharma. Dharma means duty, such as all our duties to our nation, society, family, friends, and ourselves. The meaning of Arth is the method of attaining money or possessions, but attaining money in any sort of way isn't a proper way, although following the means of attaining money as thought out and explained in the scriptures can fulfill it. Kam means the desire for attaining the ultimate happiness while choosing the right path to attain them. Moksha means to fulfill actions by following the scriptural ways and must live according to those ways. All these 4 Purushottas are interrelated to each other, and therefore by missing any one of these, a Hindu would end up disturbing all the Purushottas ultimately. Granth 3, Bhagavan has described the means of attaining the Purushottas along with the means and the results to be achieved. The 4 Purushottas and means to attain them have been explained in 2 manners: Smriti Granth and Shruti Granth. Smriti Granth are not direct orders from Bhagavan, but from the sages, and are simplified so it's easier to understand. Shruti Granth, on the other hand, are direct orders from Bhagavan, so more complicated and not as easy to understand. With time, human beings were not capable of following or understanding the means as explained in the Vedas. Bhagavan himself inspired the sages like Manu and etc. to rewrite the means of attaining Purushottas in a more simplified manner. Granth 4, here Sri Vallabhacharya Ji describes the Purushottas as explained in the Smritis by sages. Of the 4 Purushottas, Dharma, Arth, and Kam are explained in more detail everywhere else, so Sri Mahaprabhuji is explaining more about Moksha Purushotta. There are multiple methods for attaining salvation, which is moksha, that have been described, so it is confusing for many people regarding the proper salvation a being will achieve at the end. Sri Mahaprabhuji wants to be clear about what beings would attain after salvation, and attain by following the devotional path. Granth 5. There are 4 major methods for attaining salvation as taught by the sages in Smritis. Those 4 methods have been separated in 2 categories. 1 being salvation by taking refuge, and 2 being salvation by one's own self. Self-salvation can be achieved by either of the 2 methods. 1, Samkhya, and 2, Yoga. In Samkhya method, a being has to leave all worldly objects and relations behind and must attain sannyas. Attaining salvation means when an individual becomes free from the bondages of the subtle body and the gross body and ends up with the cycle of birth and death. A being can attain salvation through the 4 methods as explained, as mentioned by Sri Mahaprabhuji. The major categories contains Swata Moksha, which is the process through which a being can attain salvation on his own, and Bharata Moksha, the process in which a being takes refuge in deities, which are gods or goddesses, and attains salvation from that. Sub-methods under Swata Moksha are Samkhya, which beings have to abandon their house and attain sannyas. Or yog, beings can stay in their own house and follow the methods to attain salvation. Now Granth 6. Following the Samkhya mark, when the souls become free from I-ness and my-ness, which is selflessness, the soul remains unattached, and after self-realization it becomes purified and attains salvation. When a being attains gross body and subtle body and starts developing I-ness and my-ness towards the body, it ends up forgetting its real form. By having a proper knowledge regarding the elements of the universe, a person realizes that the objective world is perishable, so it is time to concentrate on its true form. From having an understanding, an individual becomes more detached from the worldly objects and becomes free from the worldly bondages. Ultimately, when the soul becomes free from I-ness and my-ness, the being is now able to attain its original form, Chidansh of Brahm. Granth 7. There are many sages that have counted the elements, which is known as Samkhya. There have been different opinions among the sages. Some examples consist of sages listing 28 or even 8 elements. Although the difference is quite large, Sri Mahaprabhuji says that as long as Bhagwan is the greatest or above all element, it is all the same result in the end. You result in salvation. Granth 8. So, as it is explained, the method of Samkhya needs you to go through sannyas, and as described in the Vedic scriptures, the only individual capable of observing sannyas is a male Brahmin. So if any other being still wants to follow this path, they have the choice of yoga, allowing them to observe the path of self-salvation. Although, as stated before, any being other than a male Brahmin is not supposed to. But in an alternative sense, what they can do is mentally detach themselves from the desires of worldly objects and observe the 8 limbs of Yoga Marg. The 8 limbs of Yoga Marg consist of Yam, Niyam, Asan, Pranayam, Pratyahar, Dharana, Dhyan, and Samadhi. Okay, so that was all the summaries of the past granths, and now I will start reading the 9th granth. So, Parasharena mokshastu dvida sopi nirupyate brahma brahmantam yataha tadrupena susevyate te survarta nuchyadenu shastram kinchint udiritam ataha shivasya vishnusya jagato hitakaruko vastunah stiti sanharo karyo shastra pruvartako. And now the translations. So, Parasharena, by taking refuge in deities, moksha, salvation, tu, but, dvida, of 2 types, so, that, api, but, nirupyate, described, Brahma, Brahmaji, Brahmantam, being preacher of Vedas, yataha, considered, tadrupena, in that form, susevyate, as is worshipped as, they, sarvarta, all achievements, adhyana, from Brahmaji, na, does not, kinchit, little bit, sastram, scriptures, udiritam, described, ataha, thus, vastunah, of all things, stiti sanharo, maintenance and destruction, shastra pravartako, come into operation as per scriptures, Shiva, Ka, and Vishnu, Jagato, of the world, Hitakaruko, favorable. And now I will read the meaning. Salvation obtained by taking refuge in deities, Vishnu and Shiva, is of 2 types, which has been described here. As Brahmaji is considered a guru, he is also worshipped as a Brahma or guru. Brahmina or guru, as he is the preacher of Vedas. Therefore, all the above mentioned 4 Purushottas are not provided by Brahmaji as fruit. Thus, Shiva and Vishnu are beneficial to the beings interested in attaining these fruits. Vishnu's function is to sustain the universe, and Shiva's function is to destroy the universe. Both the deities are prominent and proficient in fulfilling their tasks as assigned by Bhagavan. And now for the explanation. Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva are the embodiment of 3 powers of Bhagavan for creating, sustaining, and destroying the universe. All these 3 deities possess the power of providing salvation to their worshippers. But among these 3, Brahmaji is respected as a guru, since Vedas were obtained by Brahmaji from Bhagavan, and later on he himself propagated Vedas to the sages. Therefore, one can attempt to understand the concept of salvation from the scriptures obtained by Brahmaji and can attain salvation, but cannot worship Brahmaji and directly attain salvation as fruit from him. Moreover, Brahmaji is a generator of life, so he does not provide salvation for the soul, because it is the reverse process of generation. Therefore, a being can attain salvation and otherworldly and outer-worldly fruits by worshipping Shiva and Vishnu, as per the worshipping process explained in their respective Agama Tantra treaties. Should I summarize what I just read?
Yes.
Okay. To obtain salvation, you have to take refuge in deities, Vishnu and Shiva. Brahmaji is worshipped as a guru since he explains Vedas to the sages. Brahma is the creator of the universe, Vishnu is the sustainer of the universe, and Shiv is the destroyer of the universe. All 3, Brahmaji, Vishnu, and Shiv, can provide salvation. But since Brahmaji is a guru, you cannot worship him to obtain salvation directly. Only when worshipping Vishnu and Shiv can a being attain salvation and otherworldly and outerworldly fruits.
As we understood before, there are 2 major methods for attaining salvation. The first method was to attain salvation by our own means. It means a being cannot attain help or assistance from anyone else and has to attain salvation by fulfilling his own methods. Under that subdivision, we understood the 2 methods, which were Sankhya and Yoga. Now the second major method is of Parataha Moksha. Parataha Moksha means that a being can attain help from someone else and can attain salvation. Now who is someone else? So Mahaprabhuji explains that Brahma, Vishnu and Shiv, these are the 3 deities, and these are the incarnated form of Bhagavan Shri Krishna himself. These 3 deities manage the 3 major activities, which is to create the universe, to sustain the universe, and ultimately to destruct the universe as per the orders of Bhagavan Shri Krishna. So Brahmaji is the creator, Vishnu is the sustainer, while Shiv destructs the universe whenever Bhagavan likes to do so. Other than these duties, for the beings who don't want to attain devotion but who want to attain some worldly or outer worldly results, Bhagavan has appointed these 3 deities as well. This is the second duty which they fulfill. So for the beings who want to attain salvation, or for the beings who want to attain some sort of worldly or outer worldly results, those beings can worship these 3 deities. They can worship Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva and can attain the fruit as per their liking, while the beings who would like to attain devotion at the end, they can worship Bhagavan Shri Krishna and can attain devotion at the end. So here Sri Mahaprabhuji differentiates that salvation is obtained by taking refuge in these three deities, but now among these deities only Shiva and Vishnu provide the fruit, not Brahmaji. Sri Mahaprabhuji explains the reason that Brahmaji has been worshipped as Guru, because first of all Bhagavan created Brahma from him and provided Vedas to Brahmaji. Brahmaji attained Vedas from Bhagavan. He processed the Vedas and then provided the Ved to 7 sages, and then those 7 sages started propagating the Ved to their students, their disciples, and then in the legacy, by learning the Ved from the Guru to the Shishya, we obtained the Ved. So Brahmaji is worshipped as Guru. So a person can attain the Ved, can attain the knowledge of Ved, can understand the method as explained in the Ved, can know the process of attaining salvation, but cannot directly attain salvation as a fruit. So a person cannot worship Brahmaji and can attain moksha or salvation as a result. But being Guru, Brahmaji is considered as the propagator of the Ved. He is considered as the first Guru. So a person can understand the Ved and can know the process of attaining salvation. So now ultimately Vishnu and Shiva, these are the two deities who provide salvation as the result. So salvation is the first result, and other than salvation, if a being is interested in attaining worldly or outer worldly result, again that person can worship Vishnu and Shiva for attaining those results as well. Among these two results, it means now we have two major divisions of attaining the results. The first one is worldly or outer worldly results, and the second one is of attaining salvation. So here Sri Mahaprabhuji divides that Shiva provides worldly and outer worldly results, while Vishnu provides salvation. The reason will be explained in the next slok. So this is how a person can perform the worship of these two deities and can attain salvation as the result. So this is the method of attaining salvation by taking help from someone else. It means a person has not to perform all the methods whole and soul, being lonely, but that person can attain salvation by taking assistance from these two deities and by worshipping these two deities as explained in the Agama Tantra treatise. Agama Tantra are the scriptures which explain the method of worshipping the deities. It means, for example, if I want to worship Vishnu, I want to worship the 10 incarnations of Vishnu, including Shiva including Krishna, Ram, Nrsimha, Vaman, or any of these, then if I go through the Vaishnava Agama Tantra, I can understand the method of worshipping Vishnu. I can understand how to celebrate the festivals of Vishnu, how to perform the fast and upavas which are related to Vishnu, which are the objects which can be offered to Vishnu. So all the rules and regulations regarding worshipping the deity are explained in the Agama Tantra treatise. Same way, there are separate Agama Tantra for worshipping Shiva. There are separate Agama Tantra which explain the method of worshipping Vishnu and Shakti, etc. So Agama Tantra are supposed to be referred for understanding the method of worshipping the deities. So if a person, whole and soul, performs the devotion of any of these deities, it means if I start performing Shiva, then Shiva, if he will be happy whenever Shiva will be happy with my worship, Shiva will provide me the result. And same way, if I am worshipping Vishnu, then whenever Vishnu will be satisfied with my devotion, Vishnu will be providing me the result of salvation. Any questions?
So, let's say that so only Vishnu and Shiv are the ones who are providing salvation. So people of the Shakti Sampradaya can worship their devi, but they're still not going to attain salvation by worshiping her, or is that applied to any other god or goddess as well? So it's only Brahma, Shiva, and Vishnu who can give you salvation.
See, even others provide salvation, but the nature of salvation, as we had understood before, that alike when we compare the type of salvation we attain by worshipping Akshara Brahma and the type of salvation which we attain by worshipping Parabrahma Shri Krishna are different, and as according to Sri Mahaprabhuji, the salvation to be attained in Parabrahma Shri Krishna is considered superior. Same way, there are the categories in attaining salvation as well. So, according to Sri Mahaprabhuji, rather than worshipping other deities, the result which we attain, the result attained by worshipping Shiva and Vishnu is of a better quality. Because all the other deities are of temporary nature, while in comparison to them, Vishnu and Shiva are of permanent nature. It means they stay for a longer period. Therefore, Sri Mahaprabhuji is prescribing these two methods. Now, about Shakti, Shakti herself is related to Shaktiman. It means, for example, Lakshmi is the Shakti of Vishnu, Durga is the Shakti of Shiv, Saraswati is the Shakti of Brahma. So, all these three are related to their controllers or the major deities itself. So even if a person would be attaining some fruit, then that Shakti has to be related with the Shaktiman only. Therefore, Mahaprabhuji is not referring to the salvation attained in those deities as an independent method of salvation.
So based on the god or deity, the amount or the type of salvation is different. So if it's for like besides Shiva and Vishnu, all the other gods and goddesses will provide salvation, but it's not of a permanent kind, whereas Shiva and Vishnu provide a permanent salvation, and above Shiva and Vishnu, Brahma, worshipping Brahma will provide the superior most type of salvation.
Brahma is not going to provide the result of salvation, because Brahmaji has been worshipped and respected as Guru. So he doesn't directly provide the fruit. He just prescribes the method for attaining salvation. By worshipping Vishnu and Shiva, a person can directly attain salvation as the fruit.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Ji Raja, so the Vishnu that we are talking about here, the sustainer of the Jagat, is different from the Vishnu or the Shri Krishna that we worship in Pushti Marg.
Yes, worshipping Vishnu for attaining salvation and worshipping Krishna for devotion are two different concepts. It means being in Pushti Sampradaya, you cannot worship Vishnu for attaining salvation. You are supposed to worship Krishna for attaining devotion only.
Okay, Ji Raja.
Anyone else? Okay, go for the next look. Continue with the next look. Krisha, are you able to hear me? Am I audible?
Hello, sorry.
No problem.
1 second.
Yes.
Brahmaiva tad, tadrasam yasmat sarvat makyatayodito nirdosa purna ganata tat tachan astre tayokrata boga moksha phale datam sapto davapi yadyapi boga sivena mokshastu vishnu neti visnisaya. Translation: Yasmat, because the drasam, in that same form, sarvat makaya udiyato described that Sastra, their scriptures, of both Nirdos Purna Ganata, purity and completeness, Karta explained, Yadyapi, although Bhog Moksha Bal, of worldly, physical amenities and salvation, Datam, to provide with, Dvav, of two, Api, also, Sakto, powerful, Bhoga, worldly pleasures, Sivena, by Shiva, Iti, thus, Vinishyaha, surely decided. Meaning, Supreme Brahma himself has embodied in the form of Shiva and Vishnu. So in those scriptures, their omnipotent form is defined. Their Shiva's and Vishnu's infinite, purest, and complete qualities are described in Basupastra Sastra for Shiva, and for Vishnu it is described as Nara Dapan Garata.
It is Narada Pancharatra.
Okay.
Narada Pancharatra.
Narada Pancharatra. However, Shiva and Vishnu both are capable enough of providing all the fruits, etc. Worldly objective comforts, and also salvation of soul. But particularly, Shiva definitely always provides worldly physical amenities, and Vishnu always provides the salvation. Explanation: Bhagwan has created the individual being out of his consciousness, and the world and the universe is created out of Prakriti, the insentient power of Brahma. Being in the universe, an individual obtains a body, sensory organs, internal organs, etc., which are composed of Prakriti, having three guns: Sattvika, Rajas, and Tamas. Generally, people having Savika tendency develop a desire for obtaining salvation, while other two have a desire to attain worldly and outer worldly results. Brahma is the regulator of Raja's gun, and he conducts the act of creating the universe. Vishnu is the regulator of Sattvika gun, and he is the sustainer, while Shiva is the destroyer, therefore is a regulator of tamas gun. Same tendency is generally found in the worshippers of these two deities, as devotees of Shiva are majorly tamas, while Vishnu's devotees are found to be savika. Therefore, it becomes easy for Vishnu to provide the fruit of salvation and his sattvika devotees, and as worshippers possessing rajas and tamas gun mostly develop the desire to attain worldly and outer worldly fruits. Therefore, generally, Shiva doesn't provide salvation to his devotees because they possess rajas and tamas gun.
Summarize the part. Can you summarize this?
Actually, I don't really understand it, so could you summarize it
Okay,
so I can
no
understand
problem.
better?
Anyone else? Anyone else would like to say something? Okay, then we'll be continuing with this shlok tomorrow. If anyone has to say anything regarding the shlok, then anyone of you can summarize that part and then I'll explain it tomorrow. Let me know if anyone wants to say anything. We'll take that summary first of all tomorrow, otherwise we'll continue. We are concluding here for today's session.